Few are more qualified to speak of peace than a soldier. After all, he's the one who's seen the horrors of war firsthand. Tonight, we have one such man, Army captain and author of 4 books on war and peace, Paul Chappell. Paul, thank you for being with us today. We were speaking off camera just a couple of minutes ago, and you said that your thoughts about peace go back several years, and yet you graduated from West Point. You joined the military, joined the Iraq War, rose to captain. Why did you join the military?
Well, I think a lot of people join the military thinking they're fighting for peace, thinking that they're working and striving for peace. If you listen to President Obama, President Bush, any American president, they all say that American soldiers are fighting for peace, fighting for freedom, fighting for democracy, fighting against terrorism or communism or some sort of evil threat. And General MacArthur said that the soldier above all other people prays for peace, for he must suffer and bear the deepest wounds and scars of war. So I think many people join the military wanting to do good in the world, wanting to make the world safer and more peaceful.
You've written 2 books, or actually 4 books, and 2 of them are titled Will War Ever End and The Art of Waging Peace. How does peace get waged between countries who have deep disputes over religious animosity, competition for resources, past transgressions? Is that possible?
Yeah, I think it is possible. I think a good example would be Europe. Europe was the bloodiest place on earth for around 500 years. Constant warfare, a lot of that was religious conflict, culminating in 2 world wars. But now it's very hard to imagine a war in Western Europe. It's very hard to imagine France and Germany going to war with each other. And Europe was the bloodiest place on earth for centuries. And if a place as bloody as Europe, as divided by religious conflict as Europe could become peaceful, it gives a lot of potential for other places to possibly become peaceful. I think another very protracted conflict is African Americans in the United States. I'm half Korean, a quarter white and a quarter black. My father was half white and half black. And African Americans lived under over 300 years of slavery and segregation and lynching. If you look at Birmingham, between 1957 and 1963, in Birmingham alone, 18 black homes and churches were bombed. And today, African Americans aren't trying to take revenge because there was a peaceful resolution through the civil rights movement that was able to give them equality and kind of create the conditions for forgiveness. So I think that if you look at the centuries of conflict between African Americans being brutalized, if you look at how violent Europe was, it does offer the potential for other places on earth to also become peaceful.
Now, as you know, there have been efforts made throughout history to end conflict. Most recently, you had the League of Nations after World War I, and yet it failed to stop Nazism and fascism. You're the director of the Nuclear Age Peace Foundation. Is there something different about our current era that might be more ripe for peace?
I think there are some different conditions now. One condition now is that ending war now is really an issue of human survival. Because of nuclear weapons and the threat of nuclear annihilation, ending war has become an issue of human survival. And if we do not find a way to resolve conflict peacefully, the human race won't survive.
But we've had a couple of wars since the nuclear age dawned, and yet that hasn't stopped those wars from happening.
And I think that is a big myth. I think there is a myth that if you have nuclear-armed nations, that war will end. If you look at, for example, our own foreign policy, we talk about how nuclear weapons work as a deterrent. But what actually happens is if you have nuclear-armed nations, they engage in proxy wars. If you look at the Vietnam War, if you look at the Afghans fighting the Soviets, which we armed the Afghans. And I think that is a big myth that nuclear weapons create peace. When we have had nuclear-armed nations and war continues, which means we have to look deeper at the issues and solve war from its underlying root.
I think most people think that human beings are simply predisposed to war, that there's something inherently violent about our nature. What are your thoughts on this?
I think if you look at military history, and I know this is controversial what I'm going to say, if you look at military history, the evidence that we're not naturally violent is so overwhelming. Just to offer a little bit of evidence, and I go a lot more in depth in the talk this evening, but one piece of evidence is war traumatizes the human brain. We know that war traumatizes the human brain, and even the advocates of war will say that war is hell. But if human beings are naturally violent, why would war traumatize the human brain? If we were naturally violent, why wouldn't people go to war and become more mentally healthy? Another quick piece of evidence is the greatest problem of every army in world history is when a battle begins, how do you stop soldiers from running away? If you look at our fight or flight response, our flight response is far more powerful than our fight response. Most people, if I run at them with a machete, are going to be freaked out and they're going to run. And the way the armies get people to fight is through the camaraderie, and the brotherhood and fighting to protect your loved ones and your family and your comrades.
In 5 seconds, how have your former fellow servicemen received your books?
I think that my priorities are national security. I think that nonviolent struggle and nonviolent methods are essential for national security, and I think that so far what I've seen has been mostly positive.
And we have to close it there. Paul Chappell, thank you so much for speaking to us
Thank
today.
you for having me. Appreciate it.